Welcome to Project Headcanon. This is the 17th video of the Content Crosshair series, which dives deep into a specific piece of Star Wars media to determine its canonicity within the project. I've just spent 2 of these videos and an entirely separate 51-video series to cover KOTOR 2, so it's about time we covered the legendary game that preceded it, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. While I admittedly like the second one a bit more, this is another of my all-time favorite video games, and well deserving of all the praise and awards it has received throughout the years. As with KOTOR 2, I'll forego my usual analysis format, and declare here and now that the game is 100% canonical within the scope of Project Headcanon. But to show what happened in the game canonically, I'm going to create another grand canonical playthrough, with an accompanying video series to document it. I'm aiming for the same balance of completionism and storytelling immersion that I think I achieved pretty well last time. With somewhat simpler game mechanics compared to KOTOR 2, combined with all the experience I've gotten from routing, executing, recording, and editing together the previous series, I'm expecting this one to be a bit smoother and easier to make. The big challenge will be making sure to complete all the possible companion quests, conversations, and banter at reasonable times throughout the run. As before, I'm reserving the right to make the occasional retroactive tweak in case I miss something during the run, or need to change something to not contradict a later piece of content. I'll also focus on making the videos more cinematic in quality by cutting out the pauses, inventory management, and overly long stretches of walking back and forth. And if you care about spoilers, now would probably be a good time to stop watching this video. So, unlike KOTOR 2, this game was actually complete when it launched, so there's no need for any massive game-altering mods like the restored content mod for KOTOR 2. But I will be using a bunch of less invasive mods to improve the graphics, fix some bugs, and enable 1080p widescreen resolution. I will use cheats occasionally to be able to pass specific skill and attribute checks that would be unavailable in a normal run. I'll use the KOTOR save editor to revert some class levels right before Dantooine, so I can get an optimal number of Jedi class levels without stalling a bunch of level ups on Terrace like a hardcore min-maxer. We can explain that change by saying that it's maybe part of Revan's previous personality starting to peek through as he reestablishes his connection to the Force. My planet order after Dantooine will be Tatooine, then Kashyyyk, then Manaan, then Korriban. Revan will of course be male, and I'll be using the classic mullet man option for his appearance. For his class, I'm going Scout into Guardian. Scout gives more skills than Soldier, and it allows for a slightly more ambiguous and realistic backstory before the big reveal. Guardian makes sense given what we know of Revan when he first trained as a Jedi. For the purposes of the game, I'm going to go with the name Avner, since that's the pseudonym he uses in the Old Republic Revan novel, but I'm not treating that name as canonical on the wiki, and will instead leave it ambiguous as it is currently. Morally speaking, he'll be steadfastly light-sided, but he'll also exhibit a headstrong streak and perhaps a bit of a savior complex, calling back to his decisions during the Mandalorian Wars. Unlike the Jedi exile, doing good comes very naturally to Revan, but his personal sense of morality is quite rigid and often clashes with others. I'm basically planning the entire narrative around the climax of the big reveal. I want to highlight Revan's struggle to reconcile his current beliefs with his past actions, and simultaneously to show the elements of his personality that would nudge him to make the exact same decisions that led to his original fall, even after being given a second chance. Fortunately, the game's excellent writing makes that very easy to do. Also, he will complete the romance arc with Bastila. That feels a bit sketchy to me, given their age difference. Revan is canonically 38 years old during the game, and Bastila is somewhere between 24 and 27. But we could attribute that to his amnesia. It's certainly possible that his false memories give him the life experience of a younger man than his real age, but that's a whole other can of philosophical worms. And it's not as if Star Wars hasn't featured romances between people of fairly different ages since the original trilogy. And speaking of precedent, this game, unlike its sequel, does not shake the very thematic foundations of Star Wars by its mere existence. That's simply not what the writers were trying to do here. This game is a prime example of how an existing universe can be used as a vehicle to tell a brand new story in a way that elevates both without deconstructing either. Revan remains one of the most important beings in the in-universe history of Star Wars. His story deserves every bit of the precision and care that I showed to the exiles, and I intend to deliver. The nature of this run will mean that there will almost certainly be much less editing of the wiki required to bring it in line with my playthrough. I'll try to make edits to articles on the wiki as their topics come up in the run, with one final pass at the end, just like last time. And if you're watching this, then the first video of the playthrough series is already up on this channel. It just covers the Endar Spire, and I found a mod that hides most of the obviously non-diegetic tutorial dialogue, so even the tutorial sections should be somewhat cinematic. Feel free to check that out to see how the rest of this series will look. Until next time, may the Force be with you.